Face reality!
Don't mind me, everybody. I'm just preparing myself to listen to Ramon's next video. If you feel like joining along, I don't blame you. As is usual for our dear friend, his video starts off with him sitting in his mother's basement doing who knows what.
And why is it so difficult to help you understand?
Let's start with the fact that anything you say, Ramon, makes absolutely no sense at all.
The reason you believe what you believe...
Correction, Ramon. We understand what we understand for particular reasons. Belief has absolutely nothing to do with it.
...was accomplished through the blatant act of repetition beginning in kindergarten.
Well, how would you know that, Ramon? You never attended kindergarten, or any other school for that matter. And even if you had attended school, you probably spent the majority of your time in the corner wearing a large conical hat.
Where you were told material over and over and over again.
Do you mean to say that we were educated and taught how to interpret information time and time again so that it actually stuck and we learned how to actually analyze things in the real world, Ray? Take this analogy for example. One doesn't simply know how to drive a vehicle. It takes time, practice, and repetition to hone the skills necessary to properly operate a vehicle of any kind.
Until you instantly believe, memorize, and regurgitate...
You mean like your religious doctrine does, Ray?
...everything you are told. There are still some of you who believe.
Again, Ray, science doesn't require beliefs when it has evidence. Religion requires belief because it has no evidence.
The ground you're standing on is up in the sky, whizzing around with the sun, moon, and the stars.
How can the ground be up in the sky when it's very clearly under our feet, Ray? Unless, of course, you mean that the Earth is actually orbiting the sun and that the sun is in the galaxy with all that. Yes, we actually have evidence for all of that. Unlike you and your non-existent evidence for flat Earth, a firmament, and any of the other garbage that you spew.
I remain steadfast
in your ignorance
to help you face reality.
You don't subscribe to reality, Ray. You completely dismiss it.
That the Earth is flat and stationary.
Another claim for which you have provided absolutely zero evidence in the 7 years that your channel has existed.
And complies with real scientific physics.
Again, this is a topic that you know absolutely nothing about, and it's very obvious in every post you make.
So go ahead. Face reality.
I'll gladly pass on your reality, Ray. Instead, I'll leave everybody with this little clip from Bob Nodell, which shows that he actually measured the rotation of the Earth that you so blatantly deny. But rather than the standard quick little clip of him saying 15 degrees per hour, I'm including the full version of it that shows a couple of the extra features that he went through and still failed to disprove the Earth's rotation. Here you go.
Recently, we carried out an experiment to test the rotation to the Earth. If the Earth is spinning at one rotation every 24 hours, that means that every hour it has to turn 15 degrees. And if the gyroscope is mounted anywhere on Earth, it's going to drift. In today's 21st century navigation systems, they're using what's called a ring laser gyroscope. It is extremely precise. If we could simply get one of these ring laser gyroscopes, we would be able to prove once and for all that there is no rotation to the Earth. One of the people in the community actually purchased one for $20,000. But what we found is when we turned on that gyroscope, we found that we were picking up a drift, a 15 degree per hour drift. Now, obviously, we were taken aback by that. Wow, that's kind of a problem, right? We obviously were not willing to accept that, and so we started looking for ways to disprove that it was actually registering the motion of the Earth, and that it in fact was registering the motion of the sky. So the next thing that we set out to do was to encase the fiber optic gyro in what's called a zero Gauss chamber to see if we could actually shield the energies being generated by the heaven. And we were unsuccessful with that, unfortunately. So the next thing that we're going to try is encasing the entire apparatus in bismuth. If everything works well, I'd like to release it at the conference.
If there's not...
At a conference in Raleigh, we want to have proof there's no curvature. And if we can do that, it's game over. But the rotation is not looking good at this point.
That's weird. That's so
We don't want to blow this, you know?
Right.
And we got $20,000 in this freaking gyro. But yeah, if we dumped what we found right now, we would be, it'd be bad. It would be bad. So what I just told you is confidential.
Okay, I won't say it.
Now, I did not edit that video. You can find the link to the original down in the description below. In this video, Bob very clearly states that they were unsuccessful in disproving the rotation of the Earth, despite the measures that they went through in order to shield the device from any type of external sources of energy. What Bob failed to do in this experiment was compare his findings to the findings of other experiments that tested rotation, such as Foucault's pendulum, observations of counter-rotating star trails on opposite sides of the equator, and various other experiments that can test for the rotation of the Earth. Hopefully, Ramon grants us enough time to fully recover from his stupidity until he posts even more. Until next time, take care.